Hello and welcome to the e-module on escalators. Let's take a look at the learning objectives of this e-module. At the end of the e-module, you will be able to understand what is an escalator, list the uses of escalator, describe the working principle of escalator, explain the safety features available in escalators, describe the types of escalators, list the do's and don'ts while escalator is functioning. List the top 5 original equipment manufacturers of escalators. Understand the checklist points that needs to be considered while functioning escalators. List the actions that need to be done in case of any accident. Understand the maintenance checklist for escalator. Explain the cleaning process of escalator. List the cause and impact of issues in escalator. Staircases have been traditionally used to climb up or climb down from elevated spaces. However, it requires effort and energy to use these staircases. As the building technology evolves, higher and higher structures are coming up, and in a bid to make the vertical movement for people and material easier, elevators and escalators have found use universally. While elevators are preferred means of transportation, escalators have been found to be particularly useful in places where a large number of people are required to be moved or where use of elevators may be impractical. These include large department stores, shopping malls, metro stations, airports, trade centers, hotels and stadiums. The escalator has become an integral part of the urban landscape. An escalator in simple terms is a moving staircase. It is a power-driven, continuously moving stairway designed to transport passengers up and down short vertical distances. Escalators and their counterparts for horizontal movement, moving walkways, are powered by constant speed alternating current motors and move at approximately 1 to 2 feet, that is 0.3 to 0.6 meter per second. The maximum angle of inclination of an escalator to the horizontal is 30 degrees with a standard rise up to about 60 feet, that is 18 meters. So far, you have understood the difference between elevators and escalators and the places that use escalators. Let us now learn more about escalators in detail. An escalator is a vertical transportation device in the form of a moving staircase, a conveyor which carries people between floors of a building. It consists of a motor-driven chain of individually linked steps. These steps are guided on either side by a pair of tracks which force them to remain horizontal. An escalator is similar to a conveyor belt, but differs in that it is on an incline and has a surface of stairs rather than a flat belt. Most escalators also include a handrail that moves in conjunction with the stairs. To move from one end of an escalator to the other, a person may simply stand on one step until one reaches the end, or one may climb or descend the escalator like conventional stairs. Escalators are often installed in pairs, with an up escalator and a down escalator adjacent to each other, while a single escalator may be changed to go up or down according to the direction of heavier traffic at different times of the day. The benefits of escalators are many. They can be placed in the same physical space as one might install a staircase. They have no waiting interval except during very heavy traffic. They can be used to guide people towards main exits or special exhibits. They may be weatherproofed for outdoor use. They can be used by individuals who find difficulty in climbing steps. Let us now understand the working of escalator. A typical escalator comprises of a truss, landing platforms, balustrade, tracks and steps. Let us now learn each of it. The truss is a hollow metal structure that supports the weight of the escalator and bridges the top and bottom landing platforms. It is composed of two side sections joined together with cross braces across the bottom and just below the top. The ends of the truss are attached to the top and bottom landing platforms via steel or concrete supports. The truss carries all the straight track sections connecting the top and bottom sections. The control panel, motor drives, sprockets or gears and tracks are housed in this section. There are two landing platforms that house the curved sections of the tracks as well as the gears and motors that drive the stairs. The top or upper landing platform contains the control panel, motor assembly with the electromagnetic brake and the main drive gear, while the bottom or lower landing platform holds the step return idler sprockets. These sections also anchor the ends of the escalator truss. In addition, the platforms contain a floor plate and a comb plate. The floor plate provides a place for the passengers to stand before they step onto the moving stairs. This plate is flush with the finished floor and is either hinged or removable to allow easy access to the machinery below. The comb plate is the piece between the stationary floor plate and the moving step. It is so named because its edge has a series of cleats that resemble the teeth of a comb. These teeth mesh with matching cleats on the edges of the steps. This design is necessary to minimize the gap between the stair and the landing, which helps prevent objects from getting caught in the gap. The motor and gear assembly drives the chains, which pull the tracks from bottom to top in a continuous loop. There are two sets of tracks on which the wheels of steps are placed. The outer track is for the top set of wheels, which are connected to the chain that loops around the gear and pulls the steps up, and the inner track carries the lower set of wheels for stability and keeping the steps horizontal at all times. The relative positions of the two tracks cause the steps to form a staircase as they come out of or go in to the landing platforms. As the steps come closer to the landing platforms, the leveling of the two tracks causes the steps to flatten. The tracks continue to carry the steps along the underside of the truss where they go around a sprocket and back to the lower landing platform and are pulled up again. The balustrade is the structure that is either made of metal or glass on the sides of the step and comprises of the deck board, the side panel and the handrails of the escalator. The button that turns on and off an escalator is also located at the ends of the balustrade. The handrail is moved by the same motor and moves at the same speed as the steps to provide stability to personnel. The handrail provides a convenient handhold for passengers while they are riding the escalator. The track system is built into the truss to guide the step chain, which continuously pulls the steps from the bottom platform and back to the top in an endless loop. There are actually two tracks, one for the front wheels of the steps and one for the back wheels of the steps. The relative positions of these tracks cause the steps to form a staircase as they move out from under the comb plate. Along the straight section of the truss, the tracks are at their maximum distance apart. This configuration forces the back of one step to be at a 90-degree angle relative to the step behind it. This right angle bends the steps into a stair shape. At the top and bottom of the escalator, the two tracks converge so that the front and back wheels of the steps are almost in a straight line. This causes the stairs to lay in a flat, sheet-like arrangement, one after another, so they can easily travel around the bend in the curved section of track. The tracks carry the steps down along the underside of the truss until they reach the bottom landing, where they pass through another curved section of track before exiting the bottom landing. At this point, the tracks separate and the steps once again assume a staircase configuration. This cycle is repeated continually as the steps are pulled from bottom to top and back to the bottom again. The steps themselves are a single piece aluminium or steel with a set of wheels as described above and have cleats on the top surface and the riser, that is vertical portion. The cleats help in keeping the steps meshed with each other and also provide protection by reducing the gap at the landing areas by meshing with the comb plate. The position of the tracks controls the orientation of the steps. Rubber mats may be affixed to their surface to reduce slippage, and yellow demarcation lines may be added to clearly indicate their edges. The leading and trailing edges of each step are cleated with comb-like protrusions that mesh with the comb plates on the top and bottom platforms. The steps are linked by a continuous metal chain, so they form a closed loop where each step is able to bend in relation to its neighbors. The front and back edges of the steps are each connected to two wheels. The rear wheels are set further apart to fit into the back track, and the front wheels have shorter axles to fit into the narrower front track. Escalators can prove to be a very convenient transportation device to people. However, there are some inherent dangers from riding escalators as it is a moving piece of machinery with thousands of small and big moving parts. The following are safety features that are installed in escalators to prevent the injuries or accidents. The anti-slide devices are raised circular objects that are often found on the escalator balustrade. They are designed to prevent objects and sometimes people from sliding down the smooth and sometimes slippery metal surface. The comb plate impact switches stops the escalator automatically if a foreign object is caught between the steps and the comb plate. The deflector brush refers to the long brush made of stiff bristles that runs up the sides of escalators. It is designed to deflect objects like garments, shoes and other things away from the gap between the steps and the skirt board. The emergency stop button is a large red button at the end of each escalator that can be pressed to stop the machine during an emergency. The extended balustrades allows the riders to grasp the handrail before stepping into the escalator. The flat steps refers to the first 2 or 3 steps of the escalator that are flat and parallel to each other. These helps the riders maintain equilibrium or a sense of balance before the step moves up. The handrail inlet switches are sensors placed at the bottom and top of the unit that guards the handrail that automatically stops the escalator if something gets caught on those locations. The handrail speed sensors are usually optical. It monitors the speed of the handrail in comparison to the speed of the steps. It sounds an alarm and automatically stops the escalator if it sees a difference in each other's speeds. The missing step detector automatically stops escalator in case there is a missing step. In addition to the above, there are other features to stop the escalator in case of overload and higher speed. There is also an electromagnetic brake which ensures the escalator does not move if there is any safety device in operation or if the power supply fails. The safety instructions is safety sign usually posted near the entrance landing platform of the escalator. The sensor switch automatically turns on the escalator when someone is detected on the first step. It automatically shuts off when there are no detected riders. The step demarcation lights or lines marks the division of each steps. So far, you have learned the safety features used in the escalators. Let us now learn the types of escalators. There are many different types of escalators used. Among them, the more common ones in use are step-type escalator, cleat-type escalator, spiral escalator, levitator. Let us learn each in detail. The step-type escalator is the common type of escalator today. The steps are usually metal, but very old step-type escalators had wooden steps. Step-type escalators can also go up or down, flat, and then up or down again. This type of escalator is designed to be safer than other step-type escalators. Some types of cleat-type escalator look more like a belt, not an escalator. The cleat-type escalator had cleated metal, later wood treads that are slanted. Spiral type of escalator uses curved steps for the transportation. They are only manufactured by Mitsubishi. The levitator is a new type of escalator, the free-form escalator that can curve multiple times in either direction. There are two escalators which share a continuous loop of steps. The two escalators can curve differently. This type is yet to be in the market soon. While riding the escalator, there are some safety etiquettes that need to be followed to avoid injury or accidents. They are as follows. Watch the direction of the moving step and step on and off with extra care. Take care if you're wearing bifocals or similar eyewear. Hold children firmly with one arm or hold child's free hand. Hold small packages firmly in one hand, but always leave one hand available to hold the handrail. Grasp the handle as you step onto the moving step. Stand on the left side to allow others to overtake you from the right side. When riding escalators, keep loose clothing clear of steps and sides. Wear closed-toed and hard-soled shoes and avoid wearing footwear made of soft resin or other rubbery materials. Stand clear of the sides of the escalator. Stand within the yellow lines and face forward and keep firm grip on the handrail. Reposition your hand slowly if the handrail moves ahead or behind the steps. Be aware of the emergency stop button to use in case of emergencies. Some of the don'ts are: do not go in the opposite direction of the escalator. Do not take wheelchairs, electric scooters, strollers, handcarts, luggage carts or similar items on the escalator. Don't sit, lean, climb onto or ride the handrail. Do not let children sit on steps or stand too close to sides. Do not run or play on or near the escalator. When exiting escalators, don't hesitate and step off promptly. Make sure to step over the comb fingers. Don't let your feet slide off the end of the escalator. Immediately move clear of the escalator exit area. Don't stop to talk or look around since other passengers may be behind you. Do not transport large, long or heavy items on the escalator. So far, you have learned some of the safety tips. Let us now see the escalators manufacturers. The list of top 5 manufacturers of escalators are Mitsubishi, Johnson, Cone Elevators, Schindler, Otis. Let us now learn some of the checklist that you need to be aware of before entering into the escalator. Is the escalator or moving walk maintained and inspected in accordance with written instructions developed at the time of the design by the person who designed or manufactured the escalator? To check if the entry and exit points are sufficiently illuminated. Check if the escalator or moving walk handrail is in good condition. Check if the escalator or moving walk handrail is moving at the same speed as the steps. Check if the warning stickers are clearly legible and characters are in English. Check if there are any hazards due to displays, pot plants located too close to handrails. Let us understand what are the actions that needs to be recorded if there is any accident of escalator is reported. Take the details of the incident from the injured person or witnesses. If the equipment appears to be operating correctly and there's no obvious damage and information suggests that the incident was not as a result of an equipment fault, the decision may be taken by an authorized person, and, where appropriate, in consultation with the enforcement authority to allow the equipment to remain in service. If there is reason to suspect that the equipment may either have contributed to the incident or it is not operating correctly or there's obvious damage, then it should be taken out of service. Let us see some of the maintenance checklist points that needs to be considered. Dispatch qualified technicians once a month to systematically examine, clean, lubricate, adjust, apply rust protective paint and perform other preventive maintenance services. Replacement of escalator parts necessitated by wear and tear. Arrange for regular maintenance by the manufacturer at least twice a year in order to secure safety. Maintain a record of maintenance services carried out and make it available for inspection as required. The maintenance activities that needs to be performed weekly are clean, check condition and alignment of comb fingers, check for damage on steps and risers, clean plate and gap. The maintenance activities that needs to be performed twice a month are clean and inspect for damage on floor plate, check condition, check alignment, examine wheels, tighten step nuts and clean off steps and wheels. Check oil level of lubricator. The maintenance activities that needs to be performed monthly are check for vibration and noise on coupling, check condition of safety trips, check condition of handrail drive chains, check for any unusual noise or temperature and clean navel ends. Check condition of tension carriage. The preventive activities that needs to be performed are carry out risk assessments to identify what falls into voids, hazards, including foreseeable misuse and take the appropriate preventative measures required to eliminate the hazard or reduce the risk to the lowest level. A program of cleaning should include immediate action, routine and deep cleaning. All cleaning should be carried out whilst the escalator or moving walk is stationary and out of service and includes immediate action will deal with spillages and the accumulation of debris, etc., as these significantly increase the risk of slips and falls. These should be cleaned up or removed as soon as possible. Routine cleaning will ensure that all surfaces including balustrades, handrails, panels, step or pallet or landing treads are free from debris, litter or spills which may increase the fire, slip, trip or breakdown risk of the equipment. Cleaning should take place after the equipment has been taken out of use at a frequency defined by a risk assessment. Deep cleaning, that is internal, should be carried out by specialist contractors at a frequency determined by a risk assessment and dependent upon the design, use and environment in which it is situated. It should be ensured a safe system of work is applied when any cleaning activity is undertaken and that the escalator or moving walk is maintained so that its performance does not deteriorate to the extent that it puts people at risk. Some of the issues with escalators are as follows. Mechanical failure. Since there are many moving parts in the escalator, they are prone to wear and tear and hence regular inspection and replacement when required should be prompt. Slips and trips. Escalators with broken steps or damaged teeth could cause a tripping accident that could lead to serious injury. Clothing becoming caught in escalators. Open maintenance hatches at the foot of escalators or escalators which are not moving properly could catch float clothing or scarves, snagging them and dragging the person wearing them up or down the escalator, leading to serious injuries. Falls from height. If you need to evacuate an escalator in an emergency, you could be injured if you fall from height. There have been many cases where escalator maintenance hatches have been left open and people have fallen down them. Loose or missing parts. If escalators are not properly maintained, loose or missing parts can cause accidents. Congratulations! You have now completed this e-module on escalators. In this e-module, you learned the following. What is an escalator? Uses of escalator. Working principle of escalator. Safety features available in escalators. Types of escalators. Do's and don'ts while escalator is functioning. Original equipment manufacturers of escalators. Checklist on escalators. Actions in the event of an accident. Maintenance checklist. Cleaning process of escalator. Top 5 issues.